Okay. Hey everyone. I'm Sneha, founder at Social3, and today we'll be talking about like normally Web3 stuff. But I was reading up the chat on the previous that we meet, and I see a lot of you folks have already been investing in crypto. So before we get started, I want to understand what kind of an audience this is going to be like. So just like quick, just like quickly, just like raise your hand or like just like type it out. How many of you people are familiar with Web3 and blockchain technology? Like just like a just rough idea that okay, I have the understanding of what this means, what is decentralization, all of these things. All right. Okay. Mhm. Okay, a lot of people. Nice. And what would you say, like, in terms of have you started working on blockchain technology? Meaning, like, have you created decentralized applications, or have you tinkered with, libraries, Web3 based libraries, from a development point of view? Any folks here? Just like raise your hand, type something out. Okay, cool. I think so. If I understand correctly, a lot of people are first year students over here. All right. So one last question before we get started, and I think already I have an understanding of who all here own crypto or any sort of NFTs. Just a quick show of hands. Okay. All right. Cool. A lot of people looking into crypto from the investing standpoint. Uh, how many of you folks are aware of the FTX and FTT drama that is going on right now in the crypto uh, scene? Okay, quite a lot of people. Nice, awesome. Okay, so I think this is going to be a very interesting session then with all of you folks. I want this to be as interactive as possible because a lot of you already have the idea of what is Web3, what is decentralization, what is crypto. So I don't want to do a lot of introductions on it. What I do want from you folks is to ask me anything. Like literally, this is the interaction that we are having. We have close to 45 minutes, 1 hour to just talk and take as much value as we can from each other. So I'll just give you a little brief of what Social 3 is and where exactly can I help you in terms of what are the questions you should be asking me. So I have been in this space for over a year now. I have worked with Polygon, Build Space, Reneverse, and after that I pivoted to starting my own company, which is in the space of like decentralized LinkedIn or recruiting in Web3. So on our platform, we have over 50 jobs from like top protocols already listed. We have helped close hiring for people with like annual packages of in the range of 100 to 200K dollars, meaning that anywhere between 4 to 8 lakhs per month in India. So yeah, so that's what we do. We help in hiring, and because of these reasons, we really want to connect with all of the people, students just like you, onboard them onto Web3 and help you answer any sort of questions you might have on how you can get hired in Web3. Is it even worth to be in Web3? Should I even pursue a career in Web3? And if yes, what should be the roadmap for getting there? So I'm here to answer all of these questions. And since you folks, as I mentioned, this crowd already has some understanding of what things are, I think this can be a really good interactive session. So anytime you have any questions while I'm going through it, just like stop me and just ask me, like literally, just like, or just like drop a message, and I'll just take your question at that moment. All right. Okay, cool. So let's get started. For the people who don't know, I mean, there are a couple of people who already know what is Web3 and blockchain and all of that. But for the people who don't know, I'm going to start from the basics. But I promise it'll be interesting. So, this diagram, I think a lot of people already would have seen, like one of the most popular graphics out there to explain this, but I'll tell you what it actually means. Okay. So in web 1 we spoke about static data, right? Like just normal static data where you can just, like, it's just us sharing information more or less. So sites like Wikipedia, right, where you can't really do a lot of things. That's not a lot of dynamism with those sites, right? You can just write some stuff down, share the link, pretty much simple stuff, right? And then we moved to web 2, which was something very, very interesting, because it just helped us unlock a lot of dynamism, a lot of user engagement on applications. This actually moved towards people being able to engage, but that led to certain monetization schemes which are very unethical. And it led to these huge monopolies like Amazon, Facebook, and what they were using was basically our data, right? So all of these platforms, they exist and they are so huge because of all of this data that we are feeding it. And what ended up happening is that we did not get paid for this data. They made a lot of money out of it. They used it for advertising. There were a lot of data breaches. If they did not like anyone, they could just censor the content. I mean, if you have been checking out how Byju's and everything works, right? Like a lot of people who talk against them get banned randomly on LinkedIn and stuff, right? And all of these things then just kind of started happening. And we had just given up the control of what is our data over to these companies, which is definitely not something uh, we as just human beings in this world would want, right? And this is the whole aspect of having centralized authorities. So this is the centralization aspect of things. Like if one party or one entity controls everything, they can come in and they can decide and they can change things the way they would want to, without the involvement or without asking us on things, right? um, I mean, obviously, there might be some argument, like, what, like there are some companies who take into consideration feedback from people and all of that. But what it, as at its essence, is means is that you have to trust someone, right? Trust, you have to place your faith or trust in brands or companies to actually do things the way you would want them to. But essentially you can't really trust anyone. I mean, even as human beings, like you can't even trust that your friend would probably help you in cheating in your examination, right? So how can you even trust someone, like, who can actually, who would have the power to exploit you and they won't exploit you? So this, I think, at its core is like why centralization or why placing your trust in anyone is actually not a good way to go about things. So I want you to understand this at a very ideology level before we, like, jump into like, what is the blockchain, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. But first, just understand why this is important. And then came like web 3, right? So web 3 brought in with itself the power or the capability to do things in a decentralized manner, to just remove that control from like one person to a network of people agreeing, consenting, consensus mechanism driven by that, to come to any particular decision. And everything is will be powered by blockchain technology, meaning that it is trustless in its nature, because you are not trusting any central party here. You're trusting code in a way. You're trusting the blockchain technology in a way. So this is more or less what is decentralization, why it is important, and how Web3 and blockchain are connected. Blockchain is a technology that powers Web3 to create this decentralized network, having that consensus mechanism, making sure that if people on this network are having any malicious intent or lying or doing these kind of things, they get punished in some sort of way. This infrastructure, this technology is actually blockchain. So this is how we can connect these two dots, okay? How Web3 and blockchain work together. Any questions so far? Or is this, or also just tell me, like, like if you folks feel like, oh, we already know this stuff, just like move ahead. We can just like, delve deeper into it. We want to go there. Tell me, like, let me know. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just keep on going. Just feel free to drop a message or like whatever. All right. So now we'll talk a little bit about if we go into the development side of things. Um, what are the things that you would require to build a career in Web3? And all of this is coming more or less from a development point of view. I'm happy to answer it for other like things as well. I believe this is a engineering college, so we are doing that. But if you folks are more into marketing, if you're into community building, if that is some of those other things are your calling, feel free to ask me about that as well. For the most of the session, I'll be focusing towards answering this from a development perspective. So yeah, so as I was talking about the prerequisites of what you would need to actually begin a career in Web3. So I mean, I think it's very basic. Like first of all, create that foundation for yourself of learning how to build on Web2 technologies before you go into any Web3 technologies. Just learn how to write APIs or like create simple applications like to-do list or whatever simple projects that you create since you folks are right now in the first year. So and that I think three main languages that you will end up learning while doing this would be like Java, JavaScript, Python, and all of that, right? So just get a like basic understanding on all of these before some people just like skip all of this, jump directly into Solidity and all of these difficult smart contract languages. I would say not to do that, and like start with like at least building one or two projects. Don't spend a lot of time reading on things. Start building, that's for sure, but also start building first simple applications, simple interfaces, be it on front end, be it on the back end side, and then build on Web3 applications. Can you move to the next slide, please? Okay, what is there to learn? So I'll just do a small demarcation of like how these things work. Okay, so basically, in the current scenario, we have more or less these two languages, Solidity and Rust. There are many more smart contract languages as well, but you can consider these to be the main smart contract languages through which other smart contract languages have been derived further. So Solidity is the language that powers a lot of EVM compatible chains. EVM meaning Ethereum virtual machine compatible chains, or chains that are on the Ethereum ecosystem. So this includes Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, Arbitrum, as you can see, like all of these different blockchains. And Rust based blockchains are Solana, Near, and a couple of more. So Solidity is a smart contract language which is very similar to your normal class-based or object-oriented programming sort of a language like Java and stuff. So if you are familiar with that, it would be pretty easy to pick up on Solidity. We also have a free bootcamp going on at the moment. I will share, I think Chirag will share more details about it. Post this, if you're interested, you can join that. That's like a 6-week program, completely free for you folks to learn. And Rust is a programming language that is a little bit more difficult to learn. But if you can master Rust, then you can actually get paid really, really well, because Rust is like one of the fundamental like computer science like languages like you can learn. Um, it is a language that gives a lot of flexibility as a developer to you to code and like also make sure that there are like less security based issues when you're coding. So it is very good as a smart contract language. So but yeah, it is going to be very difficult to learn at the beginning. It's not going to be how you see the normal Java, JavaScript, and all of this code. It might throw you off at the beginning, but if you stick with it, it will give you good results, because Rust-based developers earn anywhere between 150K to like even 250 or even upwards of that. And this is in dollars, all the figures I'm talking about, per annum figures in dollars, because of their skill set, pretty much. So yeah, these are all things that you have to first choose one of these ecosystems, one of these languages, and then you can start developing on it. As a beginner, I would suggest that you start off with Solidity, so that you don't find it too difficult and leave things or something. Start off with Solidity. And then as and soon you're making more and more applications, you can actually check out and make a couple of side projects on Rust as well. So can you move to the next slide, please? Okay, I'm gonna skip actually these slides because I feel like right now I want to focus more on where to learn from rather than what to learn. I think more or less the Solidity and Rust part should be good. Can you skip these slides, Chirag? Yeah. Okay. What to learn? So, we already spoke a little bit about Solidity and Rust as being the smart contract languages. And what are smart contracts? Well, smart contracts are basically uh, a piece of code that governs or that creates the rules, right? So, what I mean by this is that, let's say, if there is a bank, right, and the bank promises you, let's say, 6% interest on whatever savings you do, whatever, blah blah blah. And bank is again an authority that you would trust and you will keep your money there. Okay. If tomorrow some shit happens, like someone just bombs the bank or some random thing happens and you lose your funds, that is again on you, like because you are placing your trust on the bank to keep your money safe. But if you have to create like a trustless system, right? And you have to govern it by some rules, then you would be creating some sort of like a smart contract. And the rule here, just like I spoke about this 6% interest, the rule here will actually be something that is coded. It's not something that is a rule that you can see, probably like the bank will write it down somewhere that we're going to give you 6% of interest, right? But if something happens and they end up giving you 2% interest, 3% interest, you can't really do anything about it, right? I mean, you can go and legally complain about all this stuff, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, instead of this, if all of these rules are actually written on a smart contract, then they are governed by code. And since it's governed by code, the code does not lie, the code does not cheat, right? So once it's written, the smart contracts are immutable in nature, meaning that they cannot be modified at a later point of time. So which means that if today I write something like it's going to be 6%, it will stay 6%. If I write that the profit of something goes to one or two parties, it will stay the same. So like no other person can come in and cheat or game this at a later point of time, saying that, you know what, no, I'm going to transfer all of these funds to myself or something like that. This is pretty much what happened with FTX and FTT. If you folks are following, those are centralized exchanges, meaning that people put trust in them, thinking that they will operate in a good in the right manner apparently, but they did not, which is why we need to move to decentralized technology. So yeah, so this is more or less what is a smart contract as well. The smart contract layers, you can think of it as more or less a backend sort of a layer for Web3. So instead of your normal backend, you can look at smart contracts being the backend. And now if we talk a little bit about the front end, so this particular slide that you see, this talks about the different libraries that you can learn on the front end side. Now, the easiest way for you folks to enter into Web3 would be to become a front end Web3 developer. And it is like really easy because all you need is your existing front end skills. So if you folks have started learning React or Angular or Vue or all of these things, and you have started, like, if you are good at design as well and you know how to like put the elements together, learning Figma and all of that, then just learn these libraries on top of it and you can create like really beautiful Web3 applications, and companies would be down to hire you. Like, we genuinely receive a lot of like jobs for front end roles, and we recommend a lot of people for that. So definitely check these out. And all of these libraries are pretty much a way for you to communicate with Web3, how do I say, like Web3 smart contracts, like whatever we have written. If you look at the different Web3 applications, I'm not sure if any of you folks have checked it out ever before, but there's this element of connect wallet and all of that comes. You don't have a normal login like you have like a email based login in Web3 applications. It's actually a connect wallet sort of a login. So all of these libraries help facilitate that interaction more or less. I won't delve more deep into it because I think then it'll be too much to get at one point. But I hope I've been able to, like, yeah, just make you understand on this stuff. I will take a moment right now and ask if there are any questions from you folks up till now, or are we good to go ahead? Can you move the next slide, Chirag? Yes, these are all JS libraries. You can very easily. These are all npm packages. You can very easily just go ahead and integrate. So it's all really easy for you folks to get started with. Yeah, I'll just move on ahead, Chirag. How did you start or get into Web3? I will answer this question maybe in some time after I talk about the resources because I feel like this will be a long one. So, yeah, where to learn from? Yes, I think this one is going to be one of the most important slides for you folks. Yes, all of these things listed here, if you just like really are, I think personally I feel like you folks already are somewhat there because I was listening on to the chat discussions and everything, and it's really good to see all of you folks are pretty interested and energetic to like get started, and we can help you activate a lot of those things. I will be talking about that a little bit later on how did I get started in Web3 and what exactly are the opportunities that we can bring for you folks. But these resources that I've mentioned here, I'll tell you where to start from as well. For solidity, I will suggest you to start off with Crypto Zombies. It is one of the best resources. Um, and after that, I will suggest you to go with BuildSpace and learn Web3. So if you just check these things out and start off, these are like very simple, very interactive projects that you can make on these sites. So they have like the entire tutorial mapped out very well. The Discord servers are very good. Join their Discord servers, talk with other people over there, and complete these projects. Okay, so if any of you start like maybe like see today is November 16th, right? This weekend 19th and 20th, if any of you folks complete at least one project 19th 20th, I'm setting a goal for you folks. So 19th 20th November, complete one project on this. Okay, on any of these things, complete one project or one tutorial or something. Okay, and just see how to go from here. We are there to support you in any manner possible. But yeah, so just follow this. All of these resources that are listed. The Smart Contract Programmer is a YouTube channel. Meta School is also like Build Space and Learn Web3. Ethereum.org and everything will give you the best docs. Normally, the documentation that you see for libraries, just like in Web2, you can get the docs from there. But the resources I have mentioned in this particular order would be the best way for you to get started in Web3. Can you move the next slide, please? Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah. So now I will talk a little bit about how did I get started in Web3? What are we doing? How can we help you? What are the things that you should be looking at as students in first years, as people who want to pursue careers in Web3, and even why should you pursue a career in Web3? I'll help answer all of these things. This is going to be very informal, so feel free to like even unmute and like talk with me. Like, okay, so how did I get started in Web3? Is pretty much I also started investing in Web3, by the way. And after investing a bit, I had to actually do a lot of research on a lot of projects. Like, what do they mean? Am I even bullish on them? Blah blah blah. And through that, I got to understand that okay, these are like technologies that I can actually even code on, and there are many opportunities out there in this industry. So from there, I also started my journey. Um, I started learning from all of the resources exactly in the order that I mentioned, and from there, I completed a couple of build space courses, all of the build space courses, and I joined them as a teaching assistant. So I used to help clear queries of people. I used to help them debug their code and all of that. From there, I moved on to working at Polygon. From there on, I moved up to working as a Solidity developer at Reneverse. And during that time, I used to get a lot of requests for finding a lot of people, to for hiring, like all of the referring people for that. For Solidity developer roles, Rust developer roles, and all that. So I realized that there's a huge market for this, and I just took a leap of faith and I started my company, which is Social3. And this is what we work on. This is what we work on. So as I said, like we have 50 plus jobs already listed on the platform, and it's a really cool platform as well. I will give you a little demo as well after I speak a little bit more about it. But this is our thesis, and then the mission statement that we on the team share is to onboard more and more people into Web3, but not just onboard them for the sake of how you see listen to all these like onboarding the next 1 million, 1 billion people somewhere. It is more from the perspective of actually getting you to work in Web3, because this industry is very it's at a very initial phase, right? It is very lucrative. If you are one of the first movers in this industry, then you don't even know where you're going to be. So what I mean by this is that first of all, like if you enter Web3 right now, most of the people won't have experience of like more than 2 to 3 years. Maximum of them won't have experience over that, which means that if you enter right now, by the next year or the year after, you will actually be one of like one of the senior people for people to like look at, look up to, which means your career, like how you see the jump or the movement in careers in the normal MNCs, it's very slow. It's very slow in the sense like it'll take you 2 to 3 years for getting promoted and all of that. But if you work in Web3, because it's very nascent, because it's very new, because people don't have experience, it will actually put you as one of the top, as one of the more experienced people if you begin now. So, which would definitely give you an edge over other people. And that is one. Second is obviously not local, local compensation levels. So, like Web3 works on global compensation levels. So people get like people working out of India also get NYC level salaries. They don't get compensated based on their location. Your purchasing power is going to be like this. So you should be paid this. It does not operate on that. Everyone gets paid like equally, and it's all remote work. So I mean, you can just like pretty much chill and go anywhere and like do your stuff. And we do a lot of events and networking stuff as well because it's so nascent. So like for the past 1 month, I have been like traveling from like Portugal to like Vietnam. Right now I'm in Dubai. All of these things are like constantly going on because it's a very new system. There are people from all over the world coming in and building it. So it's like a global community. So we have a lot of conferences and events constantly happening around the globe for people to come in and people to like um, build more on the technology. So that I think are the reasons why you should enter into Web3. That being said, I completely understand that a lot of people here would have very mixed opinions of whether we should enter into Web3 or not, given everything that is happening, the market sentiment, the scams, everything that is happening. And even I think as a general rule right now, even there's a global recession, people are getting laid off there, here and there. But I mean, you folks are not going to get impacted anyways. You're in your first year. By the time you're out, I don't know where you might even be next, future CEOs. So, but like my point simply being that whenever these things happen, you have to understand that whenever new things happen, just like the advent of internet or advent of any new technology, with good element comes a lot of bad elements because there's opportunity here. So definitely it will take time for these things to stabilize. And there would be people who would want to profit off it whenever they can, and it will take time for the regulations to come into place. But the underlying tech, the underlying ideology of decentralization and all, I believe that is there to stay. And in terms of whether if you work here, your job would be safe or not, and all that, those are questions, huge questions that I think any person should rightly have. But the way I see it is that instead of going very head first into maybe choosing something like a smart contract engineer role, you can actually go for a normal front-end Web3 engineering role. And even if things don't work out with some company, which I wish does not happen. Even if that happens, you can obviously switch. Like, it's not like only Web3 companies are getting impacted with the recession. Every company will get impacted. Like, even with Facebook laying off like 11,000 employees and all of that. So, but my point simply being that enter into it from a viewpoint of like, if you're a front end developer, even if you switch back from Web3 to Web2, you will be able to find a role, right? So try to work in Web3 companies, but with your normal Web2 skill set is what I'm trying to say. So you would be able to enjoy remote work, you would be able to enjoy global compensation levels, and be a part of this community still. So I think that would be the best of both worlds on how you should be looking at all of these things. I will just take a minute to ask if there are any questions, and then I'll actually share a little bit about Social3. So take this moment to ask me any questions around how you're feeling about it.
Guys, you can unmute and speak. There's no issues with that. This is not the Berry platform, so you can go ahead and unmute and ask away your queries.
What are the prerequisites to get started? As I said, like, there are no prerequisites as such. Like, if you have developed some technology, like if you have developed some normal project work like you do in college, like normal applications, like I don't know, like movie listing platform, or like if people do projects on data analytics and all of that, or like pharmacy management system, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, if you have created normal projects using like React, Python, and all of these things, that I think should be enough. And after that, the resources that I just shared with you, that slide, like just literally just like start working on it. I also have a video on my YouTube channel. Maybe Chirag can link it. It really talks about what are the best resources, and how to get started in Web3. So that's it. Like, just follow that. Don't do a lot of different things and get confused. Just like, I have given you the path. Like, just start with crypto zombies, do build space, do this. That's it. Like, don't get like, very I'll do a little bit of everything, I need to learn everything. The focus should actually be on just creating projects instead. Okay, you talked about a free boot camp. Can you give some details? Yeah, sure. Can we move back a slide, Chirag, for the boot camp? Yeah, so basically, I work with this community called the Phoenix Guild. We help onboard a lot of like onboard more women in Web3. But yeah, this is not exclusively a women community or something. This is our mission statement. We have a Solidity boot camp going on right now. Chirag will share the details with you after this. So the structure is like 6 week program, 4 weeks of like normal assignments and like content for you folks to learn from, everything curated and like set up for you to like go over like week by week, and these are the goals that you complete. And then there are 2 weeks of like projects where you can just like team up with people. So just like come in, join the Discord, say hi. Even within like your people joining here, you can create groups here and like yeah, just create some cool projects, side projects out of it. So yeah, I think Chirag has already shared the link. So that's pretty much it. Just like enroll, do it. We offer a lot of free boot camps, events, like opportunities for people to go out to events abroad as well. So through us, a lot of people went to Bali, people went to Portugal, people went to Singapore for all Web3 based events like scholarships. We gave them scholarships to go there and learn. So that's more or less the goal. So join the community, be a part of it. For Social3, for Phoenix Guild, all of these, like join the community, be a part of it, learn, like focus on just learning. Don't just like go away from this session today having heard everything for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but actually not developing something out of it. So actually go back and just, like I said, 19th, 20th, the weekend is coming up, take some time, create a project, tag us if you do that that you got to learn about all of this through us. But yeah, just like work along these lines, and things will just like definitely happen for you. to add more as well, we also work with a lot of different companies on bounties as well. So if you start getting good at tech, like at any particular decentralized technologies, then you can actually get incentivized. Like you can get actual money in dollars, like $100, $200 for completing, like creating applications using the technology, writing tutorials for that, creating video content for them, all of these. And these are all opportunities that are like that. I believe there's a couple of bounties even live right now with our communities. So that's the thing, like come learn and put your time into it, and we'll drive the opportunities for you. Will bring you everything, will support you in any manner that we can. All we want is that you get started with it. That's all. Like all we want is your time, all we want is your I don't know, like for you to put your mind into it. So attention, focus, that's pretty much all there is. And
Yeah, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. You told me that Web3 websites cannot track our data. So I guess it cannot
Mm-hmm.
track the IP addresses. So how shall the analytics be made? How many people visited the website and how popular it is if it cannot track the IP address and how many people visited the website?
No, actually, those are two different things. Like IP address tracking and this, like Web3 talks about wallets. So the wallet addresses that you have, people can have pseudonymous identities online. So if I have a wallet right now and I have like $100 in that wallet, okay, but I am still just the wallet address on the internet. No one can actually find out if that wallet address is me. I am the person behind that wallet address. So that is that
Yesterday,
that thing. If in terms of
yesterday,
the IP address and everything, that is something that is different. People can still track you. Like if you do certain activities, like that is very easy for any person to track and understand who you are. So a lot of people go for like very expensive VPN connections if they want to hide their identities and stuff. But yeah, what we talk about in terms of Web3 is not this kind of data like thing, but instead of the wallet thing that I'm talking about, that is the layer of like not knowing who is who and how they are communicating. Go ahead.
yes, and I have a further question that,
Mhm.
like in Brave browser, I visited a Web3 website yesterday. It was actually my website. I did it from a different phone on a Brave browser, so it didn't
Right.
need my wallet address. So how then, how can it keep an analytic of how many people visited the website?
Uh, I'm not sure I completely understand your question. Your website and you visited it, and I didn't
Yes, I
exactly get
mean,
it.
I made it from a wallet address on my PC, but from a different phone, I opened the website without any
Mm-hmm.
wallet address. I mean, it was just a plain simple Brave browser and nothing in it. So it showed that it cannot track any IP from there while setting up the browser.
Yeah, so Brave has so look, again, very those are two different things. So wallet addresses, like you will see that on sites where you have the Connect Wallet interface. So you'll see that as a Connect Wallet button. In terms of what you're talking about Brave, Brave is a browser that has been intentionally made to not track. That is their key feature. This is not related to the wallet thing. That is a different thing. So they have intentionally done that. And the way the Brave browser works is that if you want to opt in and share your data analytics with all of these different sites that want to track you, cookies and all of that stuff, then you will actually earn Brave tokens for doing that. So now it's a choice on the user. It is not a compulsion. Like how right now on Chrome, if you do all of these things, it's a compulsion. Your data is going out to them. But Brave will intentionally stop that. And if you say that you know what, I am okay with giving my data away, then you will earn tokens on top of it. Tokens being Brave tokens, that is actual money on the like exchange. So this is how the fundamental works. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, a couple of more questions here. Should we start developing Ethereum, or should we try something new like Polygon Ethereum? Is there any working difference? Or do Web3 companies need a difference? Okay, cool. So, Hitesh, Ethereum ecosystem actually includes Polygon as well. Polygon is EVM compatible, which means that both Polygon and Ethereum use Solidity code. So the same smart contract that compiles on Ethereum will compile in Polygon and will work exactly the same in terms of like you won't need to recode anything or redo anything. So you can just deploy your same application on both Polygon and Ethereum. So I hope that
Hello,
answer. Yeah.
I have a question. And when we go to Chrome or other browser,
Mm-hmm.
then one main feature in this browser app that
Mm-hmm.
Indigo tab, and when we open Indigo tab, then we see that uh, company say that that we do not collect any data of any user. That this is true or not?
I
Like,
think you're talking. Are you talking about incognito by any chance, or am I misunderstanding this?
yes, yes.
Incognito. Okay. Yeah. So what they are saying. So the okay. First of all of this is not. Uh, uh, Intego tab. I have no idea what Intego tab is. If you're talking about incognito, then I know what you're talking about. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, yes. I am wrong.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So yeah, so my point simply being that this is again not all of this is not related to blockchain, but I'll still answer your question. So basically, that just implies that the browser will not store any of your data. That does not mean your service provider, internet service provider, won't store that data. So yeah, that is pretty much it. It just means that your browser is not storing it. Any other party who you're surfing the internet through will know your activity. So yeah, don't do illegal things on the internet just because if you're incognito browser, because everyone will know if you do illegal things. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Coming back to Hitesh's question on this, I think yeah, no working difference in terms of the tech. No working difference. Polygon is cheaper in terms of gas, so that is why people develop more on Polygon because the transaction fees is very low as compared to Ethereum. That is the only difference that you can see in terms of like yeah using it, and the transactions per second are also higher. So that's like the throughput is higher for the chain. Um, do Web3 companies give any preference to a particular blockchain? I would say just start off with like start off in the Ethereum and Solana ecosystem more or less. These are like the main ecosystems to build on. There are many more popping up right now, but I think if you just focus on Solidity and Rust, they are the more prime. So see, my perspective here being that I don't want to give you a lot of different options and confuse you. I'm just gonna give you the right path to start off with. Because once you start off in that path, then you will know how to like figure and move ahead. And we are there for you. Like just ask anything. Like pop in our Discord and ask any question that you have. What blockchain does Social3 use? We are currently on Polygon, but we will be expanding. We have a multi-chain vision, so we will be expanding into other chains as well. Okay. Is decentralized always a great idea? That's a very good question, Sohit, and I agree. Decentralization might not be always the best approach to go for things because decentralization also slows things down. So there's something known as the blockchain uh, trilemma. Let me just put it. Let me see if I can just grab you a link as well, which talks about if you want to design anything on the blockchain, like blockchain might not always be the best solution because there are three things that we talk about here. One is decentralization, one is security, and one is scalability. And you cannot achieve all of these three things at the same point of time. So you will always have to make that choice of whether like which things you want to pay attention to at any given point of time. Because if you're building a decentralized thing, it is very difficult to build it off scale because it's gonna be slow because every person in the network has to agree to things and then the transaction moves forward in a way. So that is why like everything doesn't have to be designed through blockchain. The things I mean there needs to be certain proper ideation on if the use case that you're using for blockchain, it's right or not. A lot of people just apply blockchain everywhere where it does not make any sense. Just like how people use AI in projects just for the sake of it, and then they find out, okay, this is what I'm going to build with AI. It's the same concept. So just try to understand at a like a deeper core if blockchain is required or not, if decentralization is required or not for that particular thing, because some things work smooth without it as well. So I think that answered your question. Okay, so any more questions? Okay, another question, guys, if you don't mind. What does it do differently then? Perfect. I would love to answer this question actually. I get this on a daily basis. So, what does it do differently than LinkedIn? So, on LinkedIn, you can claim to be the CEO of Google or a spam accounts. So, people just claiming to be whatever, whatever, whatever. But that can be solved through blockchain technology, because whatever, whatever is there, if you claim to do this, blah, 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 your work experience, it can all be on chain. It can be verified through other people coming in and validating your work experience, and it won't be like how the current LinkedIn scenario works. We already have something known as subgraphs within our technology, which means that we take your on-chain activity, and based on your on-chain activity, what kind of tokens you have, what kind of NFTs you hold, what kind of DAOs you're a part of, we create a holistic profile for you, and it's all verified credentials, right? It's not something that you can just make up and just like write on LinkedIn and fool people. So that is like one of the main things, and not just focusing on chain activity, because we understand that is not what every person here might even have right now. We also take into account GitHub, your Discord, your Mirror, all of these different activities as well to create a balanced, holistic profile for you. And why these decentralization aspect is important, again, the Baiju's example of how LinkedIn was operating with Baiju's, just like probably just shilling and giving them a lot of money, and they were like banning accounts who were talking against Baiju's and all of that. So that again is something that needs to be like, we cannot impose censorship in some sort of a social network, right? Even during elections, you would have seen how people's sentiments change because of the posts that come on all of these social networks. So all of these activities need to be something that is free from all of this censorship and all of this banning of users or suspension of users, just because, I mean, you folks are already probably following on Twitter all of the drama that is going on. So that is why the decentralization aspect is very important in any social network. uh, Yes, so yeah, giving power back to them as well. We also have something for the creator economy in place, meaning that, so why do you use LinkedIn today? Who drives the value in LinkedIn? It's the people who post, right? But who profits off it? It's LinkedIn. And who just wastes their time writing all of these posts and gets nothing in return? It's the people. So we just, and that's not just for LinkedIn, that's true for like YouTube, it's true for like Facebook, every platform that there is. So we want to really give that power back to people in terms of actual incentives, in terms of actual money. So we are on Lens protocol. We have a feed, meaning that normal feed how you have on LinkedIn, but it's with Lens. So if you write good content, people can actually come and tip you on with crypto. If you're whatever content piece, you can actually charge, for people following you. We have like all of those mechanics in set within our application. So it allows you to do like very dynamic things in terms of like the monetization schemes and everything, and it's not something that goes back completely to the proceeds don't completely go back to the company or something like that, how it works on LinkedIn. So I think that is like one of the main things, like authenticity, like verified claims in terms of the feed and everything, that is creator economy. And also for the recruiters side of things, you will also have to understand that LinkedIn is failing in terms of the user engagements. Not a lot of recruiting happens. You probably would have seen a lot of in-mail coming in, but not a lot of people opening it, again, because it is very spammy in nature. You don't even know who you're interacting with, what it means. So for all of those reasons, there is a need for a better decentralized way of doing a professional network, and that is Social3 for you folks. I just started blockchain, as I know. No, it won't, because a couple of all of these internal things are actually sponsored by us. So for the time being, we are sponsoring the gas fees for all the users on our application. So you can just come in, you can create an account, you can check out what other people are saying. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like any application that you want to use. We have tried to remove the friction points as much as possible, making it very easy for non-crypto users to come in and use us. And as I said, like the stab fees and everything for the feed or like doing certain actions are actually sponsored by us in the background, so you don't have to pay for it. Any other questions? One last question: how does your platform? We handle it because we don't control it. It's like it's a transaction on the blockchain, so we can't really just go ahead and monitor or delete or cut or do anything with it because it's a transaction on the blockchain. So that's the whole point of it. We don't do anything about it. So I will take this moment and share my screen and show you folks a little bit of the application. Feel free to ask any more questions if you have. And I'm loving the energy of the crowd. I have probably done a lot of talks at this point, and I'm really enjoying speaking to you folks. Okay, so let me just show you how the platform looks. Okay, so this is my profile on Social3. These are all the batches that I've earned. This takes into account your on-chain activity. So the build space thing that I was showing, it's an edtech sort of a solution. So this one is basically just like it actually went and it checked my on-chain activity. It figured I have earned NFTs for completing projects, and through that I have generated this batch. And this is also going to be gaslessly minted. Like this will be gaslessly minted in the future. So you can actually mint this as an NFT and have this in your wallet so that people can understand your reputation or credibility as someone who has completed like courses or something. This is a crypto user badge which talks about the transactions that I've made on Polygon. This is my work experience. These are my projects. These are my GitHub contributions. Mirror blogs. Mirror is something very similar to Medium. So it just talks about like, for people who are content writers, they can actually use this and show things. And then it talks about my Discord communities. We have the feed page that I was talking about, like the general feed. So we have the option to actually post general interview salaries or reviews, whatever kind of post you want to make. And this is on Lens protocol. So you can see people just saying, hello, GM, blah, 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 over here, testing us out. So you can go ahead and you would require a dot lens for this thing. But yeah, let just hop in our Discord and talk to Chirag. He can help you set all of this up. Then this is our jobs page. And this pretty much has all of the jobs that are listed with the platform. We actually have a request for I think 3 or 4 intern roles as well now. So if any of you folks are good, I mean you folks are in first year, so I'm a bit skeptical, but if any of you folks have developed like a couple of applications or something, definitely feel free to drop Chirag a message with your profile. I think we have a couple of front-end DevRel intern roles as well. So yeah, so you can actually go ahead and check out what are the different roles and how can you apply for it. It's a single click apply. Just like how on LinkedIn you see something called easy apply, it's the same concept. So there's single click apply. You can check out what are the things these companies look for. And then there's events page and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much the application in a nutshell. So what I would want you to do is just go to this sign in thing and the sign up link and choose your role individual and set up your account. Just like follow all of these settings, set up your account. I think Chirag probably can stay back for some time post this to help you folks if you want to create the account to help you folks on how you can do it. But yeah, once you're through with it, we are also giving away a very cool NFT. So if you folks don't have a single NFT in your wallet yet, we are actually giving away a very cool NFT for joining our platform, joining the Social 3 club. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I also see one more question. Wouldn't that cause issues like someone turning into a whistleblower, making an ND on your platform? That's again a very good question, but that is a question not for us to answer, but for that particular individual. Like it's again something that is based on the choice of what they decide to do, more or less. It the legalities and everything, like they are the person who did the activity, or they are the person who broke the NDA, so they would be responsible for any sort of like legal matters that happens. And rightly, it's not our place to do anything, even with all of these companies that come in and they take quick action along all of these lines. uh, while that is one way of moderation and might be good in some respect, but as I said, it's actually not our job to do that. As a social network, people should have the freedom to say what they do and deal with the consequences as individuals. So I think it is a more higher philosophy or ideology than this. But yeah, I personally definitely consider one thing to be a bit more challenging is the spam moderation thing, and the way the protocols are looking at it, who like work with social networks, is to actually have fees on writing any post, like the gas fees, which is currently sponsored by us. But if that gas fees because that gas fees is involved, people like who are spamming or whatever, they will like, just like not post anymore, right? So that will like bring a lot of the that will make sure the quality posts are there and not like random shitty stuff or whatever there is. So yeah, I think that's it. And Chirag has shared, I guess, more or less what are the things you need to do to claim this NFT that you can see probably on the screen. Yep, that's it. That's it from my end. Any more questions from you folks at this point? And also maybe just like give me like a raise your hand or something, like if you found this whole discussion that we had to be of any value to you folks. We if you do, definitely like uh, tag us, I think. Chirag, I think this is not sure what it means. Do you mind explaining a bit, Subhamay? I did not get you.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not get your comment here. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is. If you found this to be of value, then definitely tag us. Just like write something down if you feel like it. We anyways would want any sort of like more and more people to get to know, learn about what we're doing. We're going around colleges talking about a product, talking about how to get into Web3, talking about all the different ways that we can help. So yeah, Chirag will share the slides and also share all of these different links for the boot camp, how to make the wallet, blah blah blah, all of those things with you. All right, so that's it for me. All
Any
right,
more
take care.
questions, guys? Anyone? I guess not. So, thank you so much, Sneha. Thank you for this incredible session. I guess all of us have learned a lot here and also realized that we have a lot to do. So, I really hope that we can continue having sessions like these in the future. Maybe scale it up a little bit, have some sort of a hackathon or a project, boot camp, something. Um, so, once again, thank you so much. And yeah, I think signing off.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks so
Bye.
much,
Thank you.
Chirag, as well for setting this up. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mona, if
Bye.
you have something to add.
Yeah, so it's a great session, and like as per usual, we'll share all the links to all the this uh, slides and presentations, and these links to the Discord communities as well on our official GDSC Discord channel. So keep an eye out. And regarding the roadmaps and everything and the links which Snehadi posted on the chat box, I'll embed them on the Discord as well. Okay, yeah. So thanks a lot again, Snehadi and Chirag. Uh, it's a pleasure to have you on board with us. And yeah, thank you everyone for being a lovely audience.
We'll be sharing the links to these, Discord channels and all the social media channels on our on our Discord server and the WhatsApp groups as well. So keep an eye out on that. Thank you everyone. Signing off.